What's up, y'all? It's been a long while. Actually, it's been a month. I meant to get like a couple more videos this past month, but I've been busy, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I got a new job. That's why I'm here today, actually. I got a new job. I felt inspired. And I also I've learned more since the last time, so learn more about finance, learn more about accounting and business a little bit. Not as much about business, more so about accounting and finance. And my background's in banking, but I wanted to spread the wealth. Like, I'm tired of, especially my brothers. I'm tired of my brothers getting the short end of the stick. And hold on, the camera is kind of tilting a little bit. Yeah, as y'all can see, I got the new recording studio equipment. I'm tired of my brothers getting the short end of the stick, so I wanted to share what I know about accounting. Actually, I don't like this angle. Yeah, I gotta get the whatever. So, today I'm gonna try to give some advice. This one is called Ghetto Finance Advice. Ghetto Finance Advice. So, the title is kind of misleading, but there's a reason why I named it that. I gotta put the Bowie represent, boy. I'm from Bowie, boy. I'm from Bowie. Okay. So, essentially, what I mean by that ghetto finance advice. It's time to get a shape up eventually after this. I'm looking ghetto. Essentially what I mean by that is not as in at finance advice. The word ghetto has such a negative stigma, right? We use that word interchangeably sometimes for, I guess, ignorant, or we use that word interchangeably with the word poor, or when we're trying to say somebody's poor or from the slums. It gets used around very derogatory. But the reason why I decided to call this one Ghetto Finance Advice is essentially it's advice to get people who grew up in the ghetto, or people who grew up in poverty or an impoverished area, where you know that some of the temptations that you had to deal with, and that it's hard to get out. You know how people be talking about it 24/7. It's hard. I'm in the trenches, I'm in the ghetto, I'm in the I'm in the hood, and I made it out the mud. But you hear that kind of talk, all that kind of lingo all the time. These are my pieces of advice that to help out my brothers from those situations. Considering that I had the opportunity not to grow up like that, but so many people around me, so many of my partners and friends, I don't like to talk about my family online, but my pops, some of the family back home, they didn't get those same. They didn't grow up like how I grew up, So, but there's also a wealth of knowledge that it's weird saying it like this, because I don't think it's like can get them. I hate those videos where it's like, oh, this is what you need to do to get out of poverty. This is what you're doing wrong. The rich dad, poor dad philosophy. Oh, rich people do this, and this is why they're successful, and poor people think like this. No, I ain't it's corny, it's jacked up. I don't agree with it. But this is like these are some tips and advice that I feel like, I'm not singling out the black community. I'll never do that. But this is what we African Americans can use, considering all the financial structural barriers that we had to go through. That was put in front of us. The fact that we till this day, here's actually a fact, is that A lot of black businesses struggle to get off the ground because they don't have access to capital. And that's because the reason why they don't have access to capital is because of um, structural racism, banks not giving us loans, one, two, us never having wealth. And then three, they always like to throw this in our face, education, the financial literacy that some of us may not have. But the reason why we don't got some of that financial literacy sometimes is because we ain't never had no money to get into those institutions to teach us. So I don't want to hear that BS about us not being educated. I mean, But there's ways around this. So there's ways around not being able to get into institutions that teach financial literacy. Teach yourself. Forget it. Forget about it. And this is the main point I'm gonna make with this. So we're gonna start right here. If you came from the hood, if you came from a background where it wasn't the hood, maybe it was just your parents didn't have a lot of money. They didn't make a lot of money, and you didn't grow up in a rich household, or you didn't grow up in a middle class household. If you have a situation where you were more so the guardian of your family, you got brothers and sisters, and you were the older brother or the older sister, and you had to take care of your family, so you had to work multiple jobs to get your family out of the situation that they were, and it was hard. You had to pay bills. Stuff will come up, medical expenses. That insurance is killer. Plethora of stuff. Everybody got car trouble. Everybody has car trouble, so you got to always pay for that. I mean, anything can come up that financially could hurt you. This is a piece of advice that I want to give you. One, the best way, in my opinion, and this is my experience, with my level of education, if you want to call that, in getting money is to know about money. I recommend, if you grew up in one of those, in a bad area, in an economic desert, this for all the homies. Sorry, is this chapstick? I'm putting some of this on. I recommend going to college, going to school, trying to take some kind of class in finance or accounting. Because in order to get money, you got to know about money. In order to get a job that produces money for you, why not go to the place, the jobs that are most lucrative? And those are jobs in the finance industry. Those are jobs. Accounting's a little different, but listen to me. I'm in accounting, so I'm not at an accounting firm. I'm at an asset management firm, and actually, I just got a new job at a nonprofit. I'm gonna be a staff accountant there. But basically, what I'm saying is, accounting is not the heights in the accounting field. You can make a lot of money in accounting, but for the typical person, it's a decent wage. Meaning, you can make in accounting, you can make between 50 and 100,000 off of just having a bachelor's or not even having a background in accounting. Hell, I was a contractor. For those that y'all don't know, a contractor is somebody who works through a recruiting agency and gets temporary contracts. And I've talked about this in one of my previous podcasts. I was a contractor, and the jobs I got in the accounting world, even though I don't have a CPA, which is the accounting degree for those of you that don't know, the jobs that you get from in those positions and in that sector without having a degree, some of them is offering starting off 55,000. 55,000, boy. And y'all out here trying to hustle to grind to make, 45, 50. They starting off at 55,000. Now, this has decreased over the years because, some of these companies are stingy and they penny pinching and rolling back some of the previous stuff, salaries and stuff like that. But 55,000, dog. We starting off at 55. That's not even a lot of money, but it's a lot of money for a person that don't got a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So that's like without a degree. Well, I had a degree. That's like without a accounting background, without a CPA. If you got a CPA, you done bumped the game up. You get what I'm saying? So that's accounting. In finance, there's also similar roles. I've had roles in finance actually where I was a business analyst, and then I also was a support associate working in operations for I worked at Morgan Stanley twice, so just name drop them. Morgan Stanley, where else I worked at? That's the main finance sector. That's the main finance companies. Essentially an investment bank. And bruh, I wasn't making like a lot of money there. I was just making an entry level wage. I think I was making like $19 an hour is a lot. I know some guys, some of my brothers, listen, fellas, you won't even gotta have a degree at some of these jobs. $19 an hour is a lot of money for a brother that I heard they're moving the minimum wage up to like is the minimum wage at 18 yet? I don't think it's at 18. I heard they're moving it up. Is it at 15? I don't even think see that I'm kind of out of touch because I'm telling you, I've been in this world now where the stakes are higher. Now, I will say this, like I have not had the best luck. I still have nigga luck, excuse my language. Like I'm still a nigga, so cuz I'll get these jobs for a couple months and then I'm out of a job. We're the last ones to get hired and the first ones to go. But the reality is you're on a different level. You're in a different playing field. Because I know some brothers that's sweeping. I know some brothers that's sweeping. Like outside, or a couple years ago, they was only making like $13 an hour. So when we talk about this, let's keep it real, fellas. It is very, very lucrative to be in finance. Now,